Hello everyone, this is Susan and I'm going to show you how to make the brim in your loom knitting hat. So on this large loom, I have done 20 rows of the E-stitch. All right, so 20 rows are on. This is the top part. This is the bottom part. If you look at the bottom part, it's all curled up. And because it's all curled up, we know that unless you want your hat to be that way, great. But I don't want my hat to be rolled like that. I want it to have a nice brim. So this is how I do the brim. There are other ways to make a brim of a hat, but this is the way that I've been doing it. And if you have another way, great. If you don't understand it, just keep following what I'm doing step by step. Pause your video as you're watching it. I have done that many times, pausing the video. By pausing it, I practice the step and then unpause it and then keep going. All right, so don't feel bad if you have to pause it many times and watch it because you're learning, you're creating new muscle memories for your brain. All right, so the easiest way that I do to make the brim, a lot of times I go where the notch is just because it's the beginning. You don't have to. You're going to slightly stretch out your fabric or your yarn, right? You're not going to overstretch it or anything. We're just going to lightly hold it and you're going to look for the top loop. See these top loops? All the way to the top. Now, if you're new, or even if you've been doing this for a while, you might not be able to tell which is the top loop. Like here, which one's the top loop? Just pick one, all right? Sometimes it's not easy. If your yarn is loose, it's even more difficult. But remember, you're just learning to do it. Don't give yourself a hard time and just make do. Because guess what? In the end, nobody's really going to even see these. They're going to see a beautiful hat that you've made. So anyhow, to do the brim, like I said, you're just going to go up and find a top loop. And you're going to kind of follow it down. That's why I started at this peg just for my own brain. So I'm picking a loop that's kind of in line that's going to go down here in one of these two pegs. So this is the one. I'm lightly taking it and I'm just folding this in half and hooking that first hole in my loom. That's all I did. All right. I'll try and go a little closer so you can see the next one. All right. Again, and I can even take it off if that'll help you. So I'm just looking at the top, right? Picking one stitch at the top. And I'm just lightly taking it and putting it on one of the pegs. That's it. See how that's kind of in order? If I would have taken this and looped it way down here, it would have pulled on the yarn. We don't want that. Next one, find the next loop. Now when you're looking at it, it might get confusing now because that one is stretched and you're like, now which one is the top? It could be that one or it could be this one. Just pick one. I'm going to pick this one here and put it on. To me, that made more sense. All right. For you, it might not make sense, but if it works for you, it works for me. So this is what's happening. You're taking the one loop, you're putting it on top of the peg, and you're ending up now with 2 loops of yarn on your pegs. Because right now, these are 1. But when I take the top loop and I put it on the peg, that gives me 2. You have to do that one at a time. Take your time doing this. To me, this is a very satisfying thing to do. Finding the top loop, the hoop, and putting it on the peg. I find it very satisfying because look how nice that's looking. It just looks so great. And just take your time doing it over and over and over. It looks so nice. See, no rush. Just go and do that for your whole entire thing until the whole, everyone, all these pegs have the top thing on it, okay? What if you go and you look and you have it all done and you see, like, I'll take this off here. You go and look at all around the whole entire hat and oh no, there's only one on here, but there's two on everything else. Then just look down in your yarn, in your on your project, and find something that's close to being a loop and put it on. All right, that's one of the things. If you go and you look, once you have them all done and on from start to finish, what if you see, I'm going to take this off just to show you. What if you see one loop has 3, or I'll show you what I'm talking about. What if you go to look and you see, oh no, this one has 3, but it's only supposed to have 2. I would pull up all my loops until I got to that one, because you somehow double did it, and I would take one off. I would go back to where it was, and then I would start back over and getting one on each peg. All right, it's that easy. I'm not going to do this whole one because this is my teaching one, and I keep using it to show. Although now that I made this video, I'm going to refer people to the video, and no longer will I probably just keep one on here for sake of teaching. Then when you have the whole thing on, you will have this nice brim all the way around. It will be so pretty. You're going to be so proud of yourself. Be proud of yourself because you'll have then completed the whole entire brim. Once you get back to your initial peg and everything has been put on, okay, and then see this little loose dude here? When I go to make my brim, when I get around to the side, I'm just kind of tucking this in here, and I'll show you. I'm just going to hide it inside the brim because guess what? If it's hidden inside the brim, no one is going to see it. So look. See how it's there? I'm going to keep moving it. And also, if you made a slip knot, it should unslip. It did. That's the nice thing of doing a slip knot versus a regular knot. You could trim this piece of yarn, but I'm going to hide it in there. So let's get this on the peg, and I'll show you how nice it is when you hide it. So look, you cannot see that tail. That was the beginner tail that we made, and it's inside here now. Look, it's all hidden. It's in there, all tucked away. What if you get done with your hole, put all them on, and you find your little tail? You can take off a few pieces and shove it in, or I'll show you later, like you can use thread and you can needle it, put it on a needle and shove it on the inside. Same thing. I like to do it now if I think about it. This piece here is attached to my yarn. All right. So right now I just keep putting my yarn aside like this, just keeping it out of the way while I'm doing my whole fold over on my brim. All right, so you just get it all done, all nice. You'll look before you do the next step that everything has 2 pieces on, 2 pieces of yarn. Once you have it, the whole brim done, you're going to take your hook, your knitting hook, and you'll, like I said, we started here, so you can start here at the beginning. It does not really matter where you start, but this is a good spot. Now that you have 2 on everything, the thing that we always know, once we have 2 hoops on a peg, they have to come off one of the pegs, right? So you're going to take the bottom and put over the top. All right, I don't really want to do this on mine because I want to keep mine loose so I can show this again. But you're going to take it off, and then you'll have 1 on here. Then you'll do this one. So all these will then have 1 on, and your brim will be secure because then everything that you had 2 on, you've taken them off, and now then you'll only have one loop on. When you have your whole brim done all the way around your loom, and you've taken off that bottom loop and put on top, and then you're left with one, guess what? Now you have to start rest of your hat. And now I start at 0 again with rows, because your brim, this is an adult hat. I already put 20 rows on, right? And made the brim. So now you're gonna do 20 more rows, starting putting one loop around your whole entire loom. And then you'll take off the bottom of each one. And once you do that, guess what? Now that would be row 1. And you're gonna do that for 20 times. So you have 20 rows on. So that is how you make a brim. That's how I make a brim, using my technique of the simple E-wrap for a hat. The same technique you can do for any size brim. You can make it for whatever size brim. A kid hat usually has like 14 or 16 or 12. It depends on the size you're making. So that's it. It's that easy. Pause and watch each step, and hopefully you'll understand. If you have any questions, then let me know. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.